On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I've got a lot of great new Q posts, and some wonderful people are showing up in the news these days. We got Feinstein's kind of under the gun right now. We've also got Shifty Schiff is showing up in our Q posts. We've got some people that I think are not going to be able to hide from what's coming. And we've got another alluding question, maybe, when this boom week starts. I think we've got a hint. And it could very well be not this coming week, but the week after. Maybe one of the two, and we'll get into that more. Let's go ahead and start up with Q Post 4117. This is hilarious, by the way, this whole thing. They trolled CNN. They trolled a whole bunch of the deep state because they put this guy, they hit him. I don't know if you guys remember the story, but everyone was saying he was dead. So it was really fun. But yeah, hello, this is CNN. I have confidential information about the death of Kim Jong-un. He's like, that's funny as heck. Now, again, he's a tyrant and a horrible man, but I'm hoping he's on the mend. We'll see how that all plays out. But Kim Jong-un appears to be alive and well. So how did his death make the news? Very interesting how these stories have a way of kind of coming to life, huh? But yeah, he was basically seen checking out a fertilizer plant that they just opened up. I don't know if we got a picture of it down here or not. I went reading through this. I don't remember anything jumping out at me. But long story short, they trolled the mainstream media. They sent China out there even to try to figure out what happened to him. So something's going on. Trump alluded that. That was one thing that was brought up a few times. And he basically said, you guys don't know what's going on. I do. I just can't talk about it right now. So he knew all along, and I think that was part of the game. I think some of this was to show people, hey, you really don't know what's going on. And on top of that, they were trying to find a mole, is my understanding as well, that there was going to be a leak of information, and they were trying to figure out where that leak would come from. And I'm 100% sure they figured that out too. A little, sometimes again, the public doesn't know what's happening. It might seem like something, but in reality, they're trying to establish something else. They're trying to plug a leak if they can. Post 4118. Sorry, Mr. Shifty Shift, but the game is over now, and it doesn't end here. Brackets and bold and targets, baby. Locked on target. It takes time to remove, install the right people. Sleepers. He doesn't have time, and they are ready. So what's he talking about? Well, it's Byron York's daily memo out of the Washington Examiner, probably not the best of newspapers, but whatever. Transcripts are ready to release. Yeah, they've got those transcripts ready. They want to release them. Shift has been sitting on them saying, no, I'm not going to release them. And oddly, once they've declassified all of them, Shift is still sitting on them. What? Can he do that? That's the big question I had. I dug into it a little further, and to the best of my understanding, no. He can't sit on them. Dozens of Russian probe transcripts poised for release after end of intel. The intelligence community has completed a long-delayed review of transcripts. Now, what's really cool is, and I don't know if it's this story or the next one. Yes. Yes, this acting DNI director informs Schiff Russiagate transcripts are ready for release, urges him to honor transparency now. Apparently, if Schiff does not do that, this guy will release them for us. I think he's giving them time to do the right thing. We'll see what happens. But ultimately, this probably, and I don't want to be like everyone on the left always saying, oh, I've got evidence. We've got mounds of evidence that says this. Now, I don't know for sure what's in this, but I suspect that the evidence is going to be very damning for Schiff and the whole transcript, or the whole thing, the way things played out, the whole way this Russia thing played out, and the whole way the impeachment trial went, the way they were doing things in closed hearings. Again, a lot of crap's going to come out, and it is not going to look good for the deep state. Boom, a week ahead. Boom shakalaka. This is for post 4119. He's referencing two posts, and he says at the bottom, we'll say that first, dates are important. All right, good. So right here we see May 6th of 2020 is when this post came out. All right, that maybe doesn't mean anything. But down here we got the first one, 3332, May 12th, 2019. Interesting. Treason doesn't pay well. Boom, week ahead. Future proves past. That's how Q's always worked. He puts stuff out and mainstream media and everyone else looks at it and be like, all right, next week it's going to happen. It's usually not how it plays out, is it? No. Q likes to kind of promote things a hair in advance. And then we got post 4072. Boom, week ahead. Treason doesn't pay well in the end. So 5/2/20 on this one. So again, he just recently talked about boom week ahead. What he does give us a hint at later is pay attention to the dates. And he says basically, there's a post coming up, something plus one, right? So I don't know, whatever the case is. When I look at May 12th, 2019, that was when we go back real quick on the calendar, and you probably can't see this, it's teeny tiny, but whatever the case is, I don't want to be wrong. So the 12th was actually a Sunday. It's probably the start of the week, would make the most sense. So the 11th or the 18th is going to be probably where the boom week happens. So that should be exciting. We'll keep tabs on that. 4120, this gets that story about the papa fruit that the Tanzania guy from Tanzania exposed as a fake, and it was fantastic. But also, this Project Veritas did an amazing little 2-minute video that I want you guys to see. This is fantastic, and yeah, it's worth the listen, and it ties into the fakery that's going on right now with mainstream media, with all of this stuff. You know, they try to ban people trying to tell the truth, saying that we don't have sources and we're just making stuff up. They're actually being busted doing fake stories. And so this is mainstream media at its finest. Let's check it out.
You're telling me you're 100% certain that CBS News Corporation, National, staged a fake event. They faked the news, they faked the reality, and broadcasted that to all of their audience last Friday on CBS This Morning.
100%, absolutely.
Only 6 states have reported more cases than Michigan, but fewer than 2% of its people have been tested for the virus. In our series on the state of coronavirus testing, Adriana Diaz shows how Michigan is trying to improve a system that has failed some of its people.
But the governor says testing, above all else, will help determine when to fully reopen.
And, apparently, the news crew wanted more people in the line because they knew it was scheduled.
Well, we knew they were coming. We had no clue that we were gonna have to do fake patients.
Gotcha. And did she tell you guys hey, you're not actually getting tested?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she did. She just well, just to make it look busy for the news because they were right there watching.
That's crazy. Well, I didn't see you guys do the swab at all. I just saw you talking with them. And then I was talking with the other girl.
There were a couple real patients, which made it worse.
They probably just wanted it to look busy. It's my guess.
Is this the fake line?
Yes, yep, that's it.
So the people in the cars are not patients?
Majority of them. I do know from talking with the testers that one of them, one or two of them were real patients, which added to their frustration because this line sat there for a while so they could organize the shot.
So they've made a line of cars with medical personnel on the cars as opposed to patients.
Correct.
And the viewer does not know that.
Correct. You shouldn't be afraid to say the truth because in the end, truth always wins.
That's amazing reporting. And by the way, just the whole shot, which is funny, there was 6 cars in there, and it's all they could fit in the shot. But again, fakery. They are trying desperately to make this scarier for people. They want people to stay inside. They want people to stay locked down. They want the economy to stay shut. It's not happening. It's opening up. People are starting to do things. More good news is coming out. Even that case in Texas, there's a lot of pressure being put on that judge and the whole system over there to get her out of jail. We'll talk more about that. I've got another great one here. Sometimes you can't tell the public the truth. You must show them. Only then will people find the will to change. Now, what they do here, and I can't play this because, one, it's YouTube, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get busted for it if I do. But the day the earth stood still, this is a great little scene where he's basically talking about once people are put on the brink, once people are put on the edge of chaos, right? Now is the time, it has to happen. You see the fireball coming. All of a sudden we get very ingenious. We come up with all sorts of great ideas. We fix things, we change. We find that will to change when put on the edge. So that's the point I think he's making is we had to realize, many of us knew this, but a lot of the people that are waking, we need to realize how bad things really are so we can actually do something about it. If you don't know it's bad, if you don't know there's a problem, you're not going to try to fix it. So that's where the problem really is getting people to understand how huge this really is. So many people can't believe how it would happen. But as you'll find out, it's amazing what happens when you have a little money, little bribery, and a government like China that's very interested in getting as much proprietarial information. I don't know if that's a real word, but as much information as they can to help enhance and boost their economy and country. Again, can I obtain detailed information about current FBI investigations that I see in the news? He, of course, shares a link. Q does. And no such information. What he's doing, and I'll show you exactly what he's doing. He's sharing the site, fbi.gov, about facts, FAQs. Can I obtain detailed information about current FBI investigation that I see in the news? No. Such information is protected from public disclosure in accordance with current law and the Department of Justice and FBI policy. This policy preserves the integrity of the investigation and the privacy of individuals involved in the investigations prior to any public charging for violations of the law. It also serves to protect the rights of people not yet charged with a crime. Now, in reality, if that was you on the other side of that, yeah, you wouldn't want a bunch of people to know the FBI was investigating you. So it's good that they keep these things on the down low. But once you're busted, or once you're free, then that's a perfect time to start talking about what has happened to you. So obviously a lot of people are like, why can't I see any of this information, this evidence, this proof that you speak of, Q? And the fact of the matter is because it's classified. You can't. That's how it works, and it should be that way. All right, post 4123. Connected? How do you secure non-publicly? Define back channel. So this is an interesting story, and I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going to play devil's advocate a little bit on this one. So forgive me. Well, one, Feinstein is obviously not the best of people. We've got another post that's going to come up here and show that as of back in 1997, she was already making deals with China, bringing her husband over there. The billion-dollar deals were happening, or multi-million-dollar deals, I think, back then, and now they're much, much larger. So Feinstein's been working with China, and it seems like once that first trip happened, all of a sudden on the Intelligence Committee, frighteningly so, she was all of a sudden very interested in working with China more and more and more. Well, what's interesting is, I don't know, about 20 years ago, which isn't too far off of 97 considering when she got caught. I'm like just doing some quick math in my head, and it seems like that's pretty close. But she had a driver, a staffer, for 2 decades, a general office lackey, a liaison to the local Chinese community, and most important, the senator's chauffeur when she was in San Francisco, her hometown. During Miss Feinstein's would have been a plum assignment for an intelligence operative. It allowed the Chinese access to the senator's comings and goings and who she met with, as well to any conversations she might have had in the car and any documents she may have left in it. Yeah, that's how the spying works. Now, whether she was knowingly had this guy working for her, I am not saying. I think Feinstein is as dirty as they come. Don't get me wrong. But this guy was an intelligence operative. I kind of doubt she knew that he was feeding information back to China. I would assume she thought she was safe because she probably would have been a little more guarded about what she told. But again, these people are bribed with million and billion-dollar deals. Notice how their kids, their family, their relatives, their husbands are always involved and always getting these kickbacks. Biden's guilty of it. Pelosi's guilty of it. Feinstein's guilty, right? All these people are doing it. That is how politics works. You enrich your family while you sell the American people down the road. That is the definition of traitor, turncoat, renegade. Almost like Obama's name. That's so strange. Here's the story I was referencing back in 1997, post 4124 here. Basically just showing that she was making deals with the Chinese way back then, $150 million 2-year deal. $150 million back in 92. It's just an insane amount of money. So anyway, Feinstein's role, the U.S. policy towards China expanded, and in January 1995, she became a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, giving her a prominent platform for her efforts to support China's trade privileges. The largest economic country. Now, they were a growing status. They were third world status at the time, so we gave them all sorts of benefits. It's one of the things that Trump put an end to. He's like, yo, you guys are no longer third world, home dog. You guys are right next to us as far as your economy, so bite me. You don't get those special privileges any longer. So again, sorry, a larger picture that I should have probably gone to first. But it's a very interesting post, nonetheless. Feinstein's dirty, and I will say one other thing, folks. The ones that are always in the public, they are not the true powerful people. The ones who you rarely hear from, rarely see, only maybe occasionally see pictures of them pinning someone up against the wall, Feinstein. this woman's got some legitimate power. So things are starting to come out, even against some of the more top dog players, if you will. Mainstream media, control the narrative, control the people. All assets are deployed. Social media yesterday versus today versus tomorrow. They're trying to shut things down, and that's really what a big push is right now, is for us to censor, 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 censor. In fact, there's a really cool video that's going to be coming up here in just a moment that actually shows the efforts that they're going to make sure that they spread this message to as many people as possible. And of course, the mainstream media is who's spreading this message, not necessarily cool. So let's do a little check here on this one. Yeah, this one's really cool. So interesting, mainstream media, they're doing that. Then we go into a reference that Q was talking about recently where you laze a target, right? And really what they're doing is they're demonstrating what that is from a military standpoint. This is a YouTube version, but later there's another post, the last post we have at the end. They actually share this version on military.com. I figure I got a better chance of playing it from here and not getting in trouble. But we're going to play this, and this is a very interesting how lazing works. And, for those of you that are like into the military and crazy stuff like me, you'll like this.
That is an IR spotlight. Here they come.
One thing I want to point out real quick, too, and I'm going to maybe be slightly wrong on the numbers, but you military people can correct me, but when they've got tracer rounds, the ones you can actually see, that's like 1 every 7 bullets or 1 every 10 bullets or some crazy. It's like a fixed number. Yeah, so you're seeing tracers. There's like 6 other bullets between those ones you can see. That's a bunch of rounds right there, folks. It's crazy, crazy power. It's really sad how much technology we have that's meant to kill people. I really wish we'd maybe build spaceships and fun stuff like that. Let me not digress too far. 4127, worth remembering. Note, they all read from a teleprompter. Who controls the message? This is something that a lot of you really need to think about for a second. Teleprompters. All these people are reading stories that are prepared for them. All newscasters are people that are just basically good looking with a good voice that can dress up nice and read a teleprompter. I did some training for it when I was younger, when I was in my radio classes and all that crap. Again, it's very easy to do. That's what these people are doing. Let's check this out. It's a very interesting little spoof. I'll probably do like a minute of this, so just bear with me for a minute.
Well, our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities, the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about troubling and irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish fake stories that aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
It is extremely dangerous to our democracy. Not that we're questioning it, not that you've got news sources like us on YouTube and Q and all these other people that are digging these anons that are doing amazing work, but the fact that we're starting to wake up to the fact that this lamestream media, that this fake media is not telling us the truth, is actually propaganda, and we're seeing proof of that. And here's a great video where someone went to great pains to lay out a lot of videos and lay down the audio. Again, I've done editing, a lot of work. It was a beautiful job, and thank you for that effort because it proves very, very precisely how this message is controlled. They control the message to the masses. We control the message that we're trying to be as truthful as we can. So hopefully it helps. We'll see. Again, worth remembering. Note, rare truth caught on camera. This is a good one right here. QAnon post. This is fantastic. So this has gotten a lot of press, and I'm going to play this probably a couple times just so you can really see it. But essentially, they're at a ceremony, and they're proud to celebrate the flag of our country, which many of us hold in high regard. And she lips the words, "All of this for a damn flag." He looks at her, nods, and then right when they cut it, you see a small smirk starting to form on his face. So, I don't know. You tell me if you've seen the same thing. See? Little smirk. All this for a damn flag? Right? I know. That's probably more like Bill Clinton, but whatever. So that's craziness. Craziness. We've caught him on tape. Again, these people, one of these two people are most likely going to be ending up side by side with Hillary Clinton on the next election coming up soon. The convention's been moved to, August, I think it is. So somewhere in there, we're going to have some interesting stuff happen. 4129, a very interesting president. Some would probably question a lot of things he did, but one thing for sure it seemed like he was trying to do was get us off the Fed, get away from the CIA, cost him his life in broad daylight in front of everybody. The next president I'm aware of that tried to do anything similar to this was, I think Reagan maybe, but let's not get too into it. I think that's why they shot him. And then Trump. And frankly, ready to stand? Yeah. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. January 20th, 1961. Beautiful, beautiful speech that was given. We've got another post here, 4130. We're getting towards the end, folks. Don't worry. This is an interesting one. The scope of the memo up above. Mueller's report confirmed that the dossier was a tool used by Rod Rosenstein to justify the Supreme Court and was the primary vehicle to which Rod Rosenstein tasked Mueller. If the dossier was known to be verified and fake, how then was an investigation started to begin with? At what point did Mueller determine there was no collusion? 18 months ago? I guess that's what the thought is. Was the investigation kept ongoing as a talking point to rig the midterm elections? Probably. POTUS from unmasking and informing the public as to the truth about what really happened? Was the investigation kept ongoing to protect those who knowingly committed treason, sedition? No blockade equals game over. And that's what's going on. The blockade has been completely removed. And in fact, they even put Barr in place to try to keep the House from starting any unnecessary investigations all over again. He put a stop to one that they were trying to get go. So it was very interesting. So we've got this advocating overthrowing of the government. Let's see what's going on this guy. $40 million of taxpayer money spent on conspiracy theories. That's very interesting. So all this stuff is going to be coming out. A lot of discussions gone around Christopher Wray, too, and whether he's a sleeper white hat and all this stuff. I don't know how I feel about that, but certainly did find some news articles that suggested that Trump's maybe going to fire him. Maybe something else is going to happen. Maybe Ray's going to surprise. But I went digging for news and didn't really find anything there's no latest stories at all. I pulled up to these two pages and there was nothing on them. So a little bit challenging to figure out what's going on with Ray. But keep him in mind, too. He's someone that's going to pop up for sure coming up. So this Federalist paper, I don't remember there being a section in here that I wanted to read. I don't know if I'll find it. Probably not. Doesn't matter. Yeah, but anyway, Rosenstein's scope memo for the Mueller report peddled Steele dossier, Logan Act conspiracy. One of the funniest things is how they brought up the Conspiracy Act when they were trying to bust others. And it's just funny how Kerry, right, John Kerry, is basically breaking the Logan Act. And every time Trump brings it up, he's like, that's an example of breaking the Logan Act. And it's kind of funny. That's a direct reference to this whole impeachment scam. And he's like, no, here's someone that's actually breaking the Logan Act, and you guys are doing nothing about it. And here's you trying to bust somebody for breaking it it wasn't even touching it. And it's like an old, 1799, it's a stupid old law. It goes back to forever. I don't know if I can find it quick enough. Doesn't matter. 4131. There is so much truth in this. Let's check this out and see this is hilarious. So this is something that's awesome. I'm going to put the link below. I'm not going to play it. One, because this is not a legitimate thing. It's just someone basically programmed their Alexa to say something very specific when they ask this question at the top. This is not legitimately Alexa giving the answer back. I assure you of that. But this is very funny. I got a buddy that was in a hackathon that actually hacked something with an Alexa, so I know you can do a lot of very, very cool things with these. So again, I'll put the link below. It's just funny. It's a cute little thing of Alexa and her Alexa voice saying this big, long thing. It's very, very cool. Also right here, we got another YouTube video that, look at that, unavailable. Q references a YouTube video that was probably really good, because for crying out loud, it's 21 0 to 21 minutes is where you're going to see the important part. YouTube's like, oh, no. That's got to come down. Not only is the link like done, you can't even tell what channel it referenced. Like, I can't even try to get to the channel that referenced that. And the channel name's not in the link, which is pretty cool as well. So, post 4133, this is the fun one that gives us the hint where the time frames are at. There's a reason why Congress did not return to work this week. Democratic, the non-COVID related reasons. Think boom drops this week and next. A lot of stuff's been coming out. Last week, this week, a lot of stuff's coming out, and a lot of stuff's going to be coming out. I don't know if these people figure they're not going to be able to walk the streets once some of this truth comes out, because I think a lot of them are already having those issues. But the other side of it is maybe they're trying to stall as much as they can to keep this from coming out. Again, that's one of the things I was seeing, is that the truth is already, like the future has already been laid out, and we've got this. We've already won the victory, but there's a couple pieces of this that need to happen, and the deep state's just dragging their feet, like keeping Congress closed, trying to close down society. All this is meant to do is delay what's inevitably going to happen. They can't stop it. This is definitely going to happen. All they can do is try to slow it down. That's it. And that's what is going on right now. Coats before D-class ongoing now. C, Coats. C, what's Coats? Someone knows better. You guys will get it. You'll help me out. And then we've got this last, that was the final link I was telling you about with the gunship lighting up everything. That was this right here. So that was pretty cool. Very, very cool stuff. So a lot going on with the Q posts, folks. We'll do a quick refresh, see if anything new came in. I don't think so, because it didn't make any noises. That's always nice. So hopefully it's good. I appreciate all of you guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I always appreciate each and every one of you. Going to do more great videos coming. This Q posts are dropping faster than we can even deal with. There's a lot of information coming out. We're going to do our best to digest it, and I say we because there's many of us that are trying really hard to disseminate this information and get it out to you folks. And hopefully we can make a difference, change this world, waking up as many people as we can, and in that, we will finally take back our planet. Not just our country, but the planet. This deep state's been in charge way too long. Let's do something about it. It's on the Fringe, Dan Radio Style.